Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We know it's been a while, but we've had a lot of other things going on and whatnot, so Bobo decided that he wanted to go pick up a new project here, and I don't know a whole lot about it, so we'll just have him give you guys a rundown on it.
This is a 1964 Autocar. I found out about this through a friend of mine. He was going to purchase it and fix it up, and then he couldn't get the engine to turn over, so he shied away from it. And being we work in a diesel shop, I figured probably get it running, hopefully without too much trouble. But so we ended up picking it up and get the hood open on this side at least. It's a 290 Cummins. It was running when the guy parked it, but it's been sitting for roughly 20 years almost. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos on the 64 white we got. Haven't done anything to it lately either, but it had the 220 in it, and this also had the 220 in it originally, and he was running over the road and just didn't have enough oomph for him, so he had this 290 built up and put in there. So I'm hoping we get around to it running, it's not too serious. So go around the rest of it here. Thing's got fiberglass fenders on it, and I mean you can just tell it was by an owner operator that took really good care of it. There's hardly a ding or a dinge on it anywhere in the front. He had some new parts for it too. I have a new, not brand new, but a really good all chrome lubrifiner. That's your basically remote oil filter. He had the aluminum tanks put on it. These were off of an International. They originally would have had the old square ones that the step was indented. He wanted aluminum ones. And it didn't originally have a bunk on it, but he was doing a lot over the road, so he had this 54-inch bunk, which is kind of wild. You usually didn't see these big ones like this. Usually the old little 36-inch ones, but this is all aluminum, other than the fiberglass fenders. The hood, the cab, the bunk, the frame is aluminum also, and it's really in pretty decent shape for a 64. I mean, it's got some issues. It's not perfect, but it's a single drive, front drive. He had a tag axle put on the rear here, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rid of the tag axle. I don't know exactly which way we're gonna go with this. It looks cool with the bunk if I could find some frame and stretch it out, but the bunk might come off and just move the drive to the rear and go that route. But it was sitting up in the weeds, not too far from home. This, yeah, like I said, it's got some issues. Had a brake cam was rotted off, hanging down, and the brakes were all locked up. But got all that stuff freed up, and it rolled pretty good getting it up on the trailer. And we brought it right now to the shop where Michael and I work, parked way out here in the back road till we figure out if we can get it running or not. And he put an air conditioner put in it. When we take a little shot of the interior, you'll be able to see how the old school AC worked. He said it worked really well. I mean, no passenger seat, and it's not a lot of space in there. So, and he had the old school wheel balancers, what they put in between the wheels, had beads in it. Just a nice old school truck. The dash is not all beat up. I mean, the gauges are all there. I don't know what works and what doesn't, but for sitting for 20 years, the switches still work like brand new. They're freed up, other than like those 3 vent ones there. I think he probably had some of them. That's what that was your AC back in the day. You open the vents and let the air come in, and and had this big heater down here in the floor. That was his heat in the winter, and on this over here was the AC unit that had a compressor out there in the engine. All the hoses run up under here. The bunk is structurally, I think it's still pretty good. Some critters have gotten in there. That needs, all that stuff needs pulled out and cleaned up, and decide whether I'm going to put this back on or not. I know the seal between the bunk and the cab is getting this piece of wood in there. It's getting rotted out, and it's leaking a little bit, but the floor is not damp and wet. It's a pretty tight unit. So obviously you can see some of that's the old school Fuller shift knob. Had your high, low, and overdrive. This is a 13-speed Fuller in here, and the critters got in here and they chewed the lines. But we know where all the lines go. So I tried airing the system up with the air compressor, and it's got too many small leaks to see what's going on there for sure. But I was really wanting to hear the horns blow, but didn't work out that way yet. This does have a Jake brake on it. Dying to hear that thing crack. But, and there's a knob. I think this, I don't know if that's for the tag axle control. He has, I don't know if we can get a shot of it or not. He had springs taken out of the steer springs and airbags put under there, so it was very, very early air ride steer axle. And I think one of these gauges goes to those, because he said he only would run about 10 pounds in it. He told me there was a knob. So I'm pretty sure that one that's beside the steering wheel is it. And there's like a treadle valve or a hand valve behind the seat on the floor that I think, you probably can't see it from there, but I think that was your scale cheater valve for your tag axle. Them old steel haulers knew how to get across the scales without getting in trouble. Work on trying to see if we can get the engine freed up and how that goes. I'm hoping it goes well, and then if we get it mobile, we might take this down to the other shop where we seem to be doing nothing but storing vehicles lately, and get something done on this one. At least this one we got the control over. The 63 Peterbilt and the other Peterbilt that we had, what we were going to work on, it ended up going back to the original owner. Some had a falling out there, and the 63, the body shop for where we work here, they're working on it, getting it pretty nice, but we're not really involved in that, so there'll be a lot more videos on it, what we're gonna do. So at this point, thanks for watching this. If you like this kind of stuff, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share it, stay tuned for the next one where hopefully it'll be making smoke.